You know
I
what?
love AI.
You know,
Really? Oh, it
Yes.
just freaks me out.
It
really?
freaks my dad out too. He said,
Yeah.
"Stop it. They're going to learn too much from you."
Her dad could be my son too, but yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
So you're even more freaked out than her dad.
Well,
Okay,
and
your
it's
son,
just going to get smarter and smarter. And I already hate the texts that make it seem like that person knows me, and then they make me feel bad for not responding to it. And I know this is all AI backed.
That's so funny because I know I was interviewing someone on my podcast recently who said that someone replied to her email with a complaint like that. Quit acting like you know me. I know this isn't really you. And it was her.
Oh my gosh. She goes, but
Was
no,
it
wait, no, I
you?
really am.
It really is me.
But you know how many emails I've gotten in the last 2 weeks that have said, this is a real human trying to reach you. And you're like, no, you're not. Because it was like 3 paragraphs
Can't
long.
even trust the real humans being real
If
humans.
you were a real human, you wouldn't have to tell me.
Right? Oh, this is so good.
Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop.
Oh boy, Ellen, we have another episode. The sky has finally parted. The rain has gone away. The sunshine is out, and we're about to have a great time inside in the podcast studio. Well, as I was driving to come do this, I was like, man, there's one reason I love being in my job is I get to be outside. So I got to go this morning. We had training with my team. Loved it. Got out there. But then I got to go check on, we started 2 jobs that I had estimated. So I got to go meet and greet the customers and do all that. And I'm driving back here going, man, I just love not being in an office, sitting there looking outside going, boy, I wonder what it feels like to be outside. I had the windows down. I was rolling through Atlanta.
Do you have some 80s music going?
I was playing the outfield. What? Actually, I was playing, no kidding. I played Hair Nation on Sirius XM.
That's funny.
That's my guilty pleasure. I'll admit it. I do like 80s hair rock.
Yeah, considering we have no hair.
Right. I think we better get going because this episode is going to be a lot of fun. We have Sarah Block on, and she is with a great company name, and I love this name because when you think about marketing, you think about advertising. Everybody says, I want to be big. I want to be bold. I want to be the biggest one ever. And she comes out with a company called Tiny Marketing. I love that name. Sarah, welcome to the show. And
Thank you.
I want to know how much time you put into that one and how much did you go out there and test it out and beta test it and do all kinds of A/B testing and all that other crap they talk about to come up with Tiny Marketing?
I did none of that. It came to me when I was driving and I said, that's it. So it was intuitive A/B testing. I said, Sarah, do you like this? Yes, I do. And I went with it.
Tiny Marketing.
You're going to have to work on that story a little bit, Sarah.
I know.
I mean, you are in marketing.
Yeah. All right. I A/B tested it. I made sure that everybody was going to be all in. No, it really had to do with like who I serve and what my values are around my business. So it made sense for me.
Right. So obviously you work with a lot of little people. Are they short? I mean, can you say that?
No.
Okay.
We're going to have to just delete everything
I'm
and start
short.
over.
So Tiny Marketing. So how did you get into that? What were you doing before that?
Maybe we should find out what it is.
Oh, damn it. All right.
Yeah.
Let me back up. All right. What is Tiny Marketing?
Tiny Marketing.
That's a good question, isn't it, Chris?
It's always asking the right questions, Ellen. That's what it's about.
It's the strategies and systems that work for tiny teams. So I started off my marketing world as a 1-person marketing department for a 7-company construction group, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah. Did you know that my background is in construction and facilities?
Well, I kind of did. I was waiting for you to tell us that so I could go, ooh. I didn't know.
He's been practicing woo-hoo-hoo all afternoon.
He was in the mirror doing woo-woos.
As he's driving around listening to Hair Nation.
Yes.
Ooh.
Bang your head. And I'm listening to it. So that's you. So you're working for these companies. You're a 1-person marketing arm. You're like, wow, how do I figure out how to get these guys where they need to be as one person?
Yeah, I was really overwhelmed. I had 7 presidents breathing down my neck saying, these aren't the right leads. I need you to support this. There was a lot going on. And with construction, it's a lot of account-based marketing where you're going after specific projects. So that's really complicated when there's only one of you and there's a lot of projects happening. So I built out a system where I look at marketing like 80-20. 20% of our customers, like the top 20% of our customers, I build our marketing around them because let's just duplicate them. So that's how I do it. And then the extra 20% of my marketing plan that's left over, I call that lab work. That's where I experiment, and anything that I want to test out that quarter, that's my permission. I can do that. And I give myself some benchmarks. I'm going to test this for one quarter. If I meet those benchmarks, then it lives in the 80%. And if not, I cut it.
I like it. Cut and then. All right. So Tiny Marketing, it's a system, but now if somebody wanted to use your system, they can self-implement, or do they work with you as the marketing person?
They can self-implement.
Yeah.
I talk about my framework all the time. It's building out this 80-20 plan and then systematizing it, automating where you can, using AI where you can, and then outsourcing anything that doesn't fit into those categories. So even if you have no marketing department, it still works.
I do want to get into the whole AI thing. I knew it was going to come up today.
You know what?
I love AI.
You know,
really? Oh, it
Yes.
just freaks me out.
It freaks
really?
my dad out too. He said,
Yeah.
Stop it. They're going to learn too much from you.
Her dad could be my son too, but yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
So you're even more freaked out than her dad.
Well,
aka
and
your
it's
son.
just going to get smarter and smarter. And I already hate the texts that make it seem like that person knows me, and then they make me feel bad for not responding to it. And I know this is all AI backed.
That's so funny because I know I was interviewing someone on my podcast recently who said that someone replied to her email with a complaint like that. Quit acting like you know me. I know this isn't really you. And it was her.
Oh my gosh. She goes, but
Was
no,
it
wait, no, I
you?
really am.
It really is me.
But you know how many emails I've gotten in the last 2 weeks that have said, this is a real human trying to reach you? And you're like, no, you're not. Because it was like 3 paragraphs
Can't
long.
even trust the real humans being real
If
humans.
you were a real human, you wouldn't have to tell me.
Right? Oh, this is so good. What's the human test? No, it's not going to be just click in the box. I am not a robot. Now you have to say, what do you do to outsmart AI to prove that you're not AI? In the
You
AI
have to
world?
use
Maybe Sarah can tell us.
Oh, that's
a
right.
lot more video. Use a lot more video and audio. So something that I've been doing lately is sending personal video so people can actually see my face and see that I'm the one communicating with them. And it feels a lot more personal. Breaks down that.
Video is a big one. That's a huge point right off the bat. I've done this. I've talked about this a million times. I'm going to talk about it again because it'll be 1,000,001. But we started my newsletter. I put a newsletter out now we're up to 17,000 emails that go out every month for
That's awesome.
for customers. Yep. But we added a video to it 2 years ago, and our open rate went from 25 to 42%, which is 20% higher than the industry average in the remodeling world.
Just because it had a video in it?
I think there was a combination of things we did, and we did revamp it, but the video was king. And I picked that up off of Marcus Sheridan's They Ask You Answers, that video is king. And this was going back 3 or 4 years ago. And now Sarah says it again, video and audio, that content is going to prove that you're a real person.
Yeah, exactly.
So how are you using AI though?
I use it, a lot of strategic ways. I like to have AI grade what I've created. So one thing I did was I wrote a cold pitch for a speaking engagement, and then I put it in AI and I said, grade this. How responsive will this be? And it went through it and it critiqued it, and it said it gave me suggestions on how to make it better so it would work better. So that's one way I do it. And I also take content that is done really well that I've already created, and I'll put it in ChatGPT and I say, give me 10 other ideas that are like this. And it comes up with a lot of gold.
Wow.
Was this where I'm supposed to chime in? Hang on, I'm writing down.
No,
I'm writing-
yeah,
I'm
Chris
writing
is
this up.
excited. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
My son's a high school English teacher, and he just had to kick a kid out of journalism club because all the stories he wrote were ChatGPT.
Really?
And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, come on, you're in a journalism club.
Yeah,
that you probably
why?
like to write.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not just get the grade, or not. You're not
it's
even
not
get the grade.
even
It's just for
great.
funsies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's two great ways to use that, because I've seen one guy, of course, AI, ChatGPT, those things. I mean, huge buzzwords in the construction industry, which is historically known as being behind. I'm in a number of
Yes.
groups nationally. They're trying to get ahead, but so these guys are pitching us saying, I'll tell you how to do it. So one guy, just one little Facebook post, I get the most out of it. And it's almost similar to what Sarah said was, here's how I use it. And you're like, oh, okay. If he uses it like this, and then what Sarah just said is grade my pitch and give me 10 ideas like this. Now I know how to go try to use AI or tell my marketing team what to do. My marketing team. You're looking at him.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
You're my people.
How's your
I
marketing team
understand
doing
that.
there, Chris?
I'm the tiniest marketing team.
Now you get where I got my name.
I love it. I do. I'm totally into this. Tiny marketing. I think the branding part of this. I mean, what's the logo look like? I mean, it just could be little, but big. How do you be big and little at the same time? It's awesome. I love it.
It's just a little tiny with a period at the end.
There you go.
That's clean. I like it.
That is clean. That's
So
clean
do you focus on clients who are under a certain size, employee size, or?
Not necessarily a certain employee size, but I focus on specifically small marketing departments or no marketing departments, because the systems that I build out are best for them. I've worked with some massive international companies that have numerous marketing departments, and the systems that I've created, they don't need. So I don't want to work with them.
So you're going where the need is. I like it.
Yeah.
Can we take a case study just to understand how you came in and helped somebody and how you did it? Again, back to this ChatGPT and AI thing. I think our listeners would get a lot of information or understand a lot more if you kind of took us through one, right? These guys were doing this. They were trying to market. They couldn't. I came in, gave them my quote unquote system, the tiny marketing system, and now they're doing this.
Do you have what it takes to start your own business? Are you tired of the 9-to-5 corporate job and ready to make that leap into entrepreneurship? You need to check out From the Zoo to the Wild, the book by successful entrepreneur Chris Lalvani. This book is a unique perspective on the journey into the wild world of home services and delivering excellence in service while working in customers' homes. Lalvani shares his path to success in this industry, including proven customer relationship strategies, award-winning customer experience processes, and a unique approach to training a team of service technicians to perform at the highest levels. Whether you're a small business trying to scale or a franchise operation, From the Zoo to the Wild will give you the mindset, habits, leadership style, and customer-oriented processes to succeed as a small business owner in the world of home services. So if you're ready to take control of your future, get a copy of From the Zoo to the Wild today, available on Amazon.
Yeah, so just since this is top of mind, I did a webinar not too long ago where I put a mini case study of one of my clients. So I'll just go from that one. But it was a facilities company, and they were doing like ad hoc blogging, trying to get some SEO traction on it, but it wasn't really going anywhere. So what I did was I created a pillar content system where we chose one type of content that we're going to create consistently, and then we repurposed it everywhere. So that would amplify the distribution, get as many eyes on it as possible. And then we did an email strategy around it, and it ended up bringing in, I think it was 1.65 million in marketing attributed sales from that system. So starting from just the one thing I can commit to doing on a regular basis, repurposing it, and making sure it was really optimized for SEO so we can start ranking. And the majority of their leads came in through search.
Wow. I think that's the thing. I've been teaching my sales guys, we have to play in the I don't know what I don't know phase or space when you're talking to customers, when you're talking to their homes. And here, this is a big thing for companies when you start a business. If you don't have a marketing background, or even today, because it's advancing so quickly, we don't know what we don't know. They were thinking, oh, I'm doing a good job. Oh, I don't know. I'm ad hoc blogging. I'm getting SEO. And then you come in and you talked about, it's the pillar system about doing other stuff and getting around it.
Yeah, make it easy. Choose one thing that you're cool with doing on a regular basis and then repurpose it to feed everything else.
Alan?
I'm just trying to get my mind around that, but I'm also getting my mind around, you're saying the construction industry is behind and they're trying to get ahead. We don't even know what ahead is.
We don't know what we don't know. Back to that.
Yeah.
But the construction industry, I just was up in a conference in Chicago, which is where Sarah's from. Of course, I never left the airport at O'Hare. I was at the hotel for 2 days. And where the construction industry is going for sure, especially in home repair and home services, this is all about consolidation and understanding more about how to service a customer, because we're going in such a big outsourcing model when it comes to home maintenance and home repairs. But we're behind. I mean, paper, pencil, sticky notes. I'll never forget my plumber, Bob, from Jefferson when I first started. Bob was an amazing plumber, but he had that big old Southern drawl, and his CRM system was the yellow notes on his steering wheel were jobs to do today. They were steering the sticky notes over on the right dash were people he had to call tomorrow, and the middle dash were people he had to collect money from. I'm like, Bob, what happens if you put the window down? He goes, well, Chris, I'd be in trouble. And I'm not sure what to do after that. And sure enough, he would come to me at the end of the year and he's like, Chris, you guys haven't paid me for all them jobs. I'm like, do what? Bob, I haven't got any invoices. Oh yeah, I got them all right here. And he'd pull out his leaflet, and they were all the two carbon pop copies, right? And he's got 6 months of invoices. I'm like, Bob, you can't do that to me, man. I don't have the cash. This is December. I said, I can't be your Christmas piggy bank. So that's how the construction industry is behind. I'm not even talking about
Bob
marketing.
had more business than he knew what to do with.
Oh, he was the best, man.
Yeah.
He was just, I talk about my plumber from Jefferson.
Rest in peace, Bob.
Yeah, he was awesome. But that's how far behind we are. And now, because he didn't have to market one iota. And now, if he just would have stuck around just a little bit longer, Bob, I wish he would have. I was going to basically buy his business and take him and fold him into the trusted toolbox.
Do you work with people who aren't in business yet, but they're planning on going into business? Because that's part of our listenership. Like Chris strategically worked on his business plan and everything before he left his corporate job and then started the Trusted Toolbox. We've talked to a lot of people who sometimes are just spit out by corporate and they start their business. But, do you work with those kinds of people, and do you have some advice for those people who are about to start their business on setting up a marketing plan?
Yeah, I just ran a program for people that were starting a business on how to package their service as a product and how to sell using content. So I do in like the training space, the first thing I would do if I were them is to narrow in on that customer, who it is that you want to serve. That makes it easiest.
Do you use the word avatar like Chris does?
I do.
Yes, because I just wrote it down. I said, oh, good.
I saw a little bead of sweat on your forehead.
I was like, oh, boy, because I did. I just wrote down, oh, good, she uses avatar. I just wrote down avatar.
Yes, because it's so much easier when you have that one person in mind that you're talking to, and then create your marketing for that person. And if you're just starting out, you might not know who your person is. And you have to figure that out, which is something that I know I did. So before I ever left corporate marketing, I started testing out messaging ideas for different customer segments that it would make sense for me to serve. And I saw what resonated with people, what people were reacting to.
Did you have your own focus group or something, or how did you test it?
It was on LinkedIn. I would do LinkedIn posts on specific topics that I was considering niching down into. And I went with what resonated the most with people. And you could also use LinkedIn for the analytics, see who's visiting your profile, who your audience already is. and how you can serve them.
So you weren't asking people, hey, what do you think of this pitch? You were actually just using LinkedIn as your psychological profile workshop.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I was creating content and seeing if people had questions about it, or it's like, oh my God, tell me more about this. And the thing that resonated with people was, I have a small marketing department and I don't know what the hell to do because I don't have any resources. I don't have any money. I don't have any team. How do I make this work? And that's what resonated with people. And I have like 10 years of experience doing that. So
that's awesome.
It is kind of intimidating if you're, a sole proprietor and you're thinking, okay, I need to create all this content. And some people may not even be comfortable with social media. I mean, what do you say to folks like that? How do you create content if that's just something, one, you don't have? Well, I guess you could use AI, Chris.
I've already noted that. Well, I was about to say, Alan, I got this great idea. It's called AI.
Yeah.
Chris, you know what it is? I have no clue. In fact, it took me how long to figure out? I think right now I'm at here. We're doing this, in May? I think the first time I heard ChatGPT was March, the end of March.
Yeah.
And I was simultaneously going, wow, beautiful. What a great idea. And like, how freaking far behind am I? Because everybody's using it. But look how fast it's gone. I think it's the fastest growing website in the history of the internet.
Yes, I've heard that too. People and it brought down Google's own traffic. People are going to Google less and going to ChatGPT instead, which is crazy.
This is going to be the battle of the behemoths. That's true. But I know.
So you were immediately excited about it?
I was not immediately
it's
scared.
The exact opposite deal.
No, I was
like, this is the end of society as we know it.
Oh,
our kids are getting dumber by the minute, and this just accelerated it. Just shoved them over the cliff.
So let's keep going down this wormhole.
Okay.
So I've got one in college and one post college trying to go back and get their medical degree, and the one who's post college said, "Oh, I'm going to use this to write every paper." And my son, who's younger, who's in college, wants to be a lawyer, says, "I will never use that." Well, he just finished up his junior year in college. Comes back, he goes, "I have to admit, this ChatGPT thing might not be so bad." I'm like, and he's a big writer. He's very good at it. But I know I don't. I see the pitfalls. I get it. Back to this: are you a real person? Not a real person? That's freaky. I don't know about this, but I did. I mean, just when I've heard these little things, I'm going to go out there and say, I'm going to say, grade my pitch. I'm going to say I've got some good ideas. Top 10. I'm going to do a small bathroom remodeling ideas. Give me 10 ideas. I mean, just try stuff like that. Just see what it pumps out.
That is
Go ahead.
Going along that same vein, you could take your customer avatar, the phrase you like, you can put that information into ChatGPT and ask them, what problems does this person typically have? What is it?
Ooh, I like that.
Yes. You can learn more about your customer avatar through it.
So let's talk about the avatar for a minute, because I'm a big fan of that. That's one of the things that saved me a lot of money in the beginning, because I did niche it down to 4 different avatars, and I've stayed with that. I would say now I'm at a 5th, because millennials are now one of our avatars. That's right. We're working with them. They're not bad people. They're not bad. In fact, I have a feeling
we're old now. I have 2 kids playing video games right in there.
Yeah. See, I have a feeling we're talking to one. See? So
what happens when millennials raise kids? Oh, that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, well,
we're doing it.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
do you always remember that you have them?
Yeah. Now, I swear to God, we sound just like our parents did, right? Because I remember my grandfather and my grandmother saying stuff to my dad like, "What are you doing? You're spoiling the kid." And now, I mean, they look at now. And my dad just asked me the other day. He said, "If your grandfather's still alive, do you think he'd even know how you live now?" I'm like, "Not even close."
No.
Yeah. But yeah, it's wild when you talk about it. So let's go back to this avatar. Who is the best customer for you right now?
For me, the best customer for me right now are solo entrepreneurs. I was actually not in preparation for this, but I was looking through my email list yesterday and just doing a little digging, because I was curious, who is it that is today I'm resonating with? And it's been almost all solo entrepreneurs, because they're wearing so many hats and they're overwhelmed with marketing and they want to figure out a better way.
That's a great one. So if you're a solopreneur, like how I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I picked that phrase up.
You're so wordsmithy.
Well, actually, I was just using my phone. I went to AI. I said, ChatGPT, give me a better name for solo entrepreneur. No, I'm kidding. I've heard it before. So there you go. If you're a solopreneur, you're right. You're trying to gain more people, do more things. We talk a lot about scaling on this business, and scaling yourself as a solopreneur is hard because you got to get those leads and get that going. And then if you can create the work that you're doing or the service or the product you're offering, that's one thing. But to get out there and get in front of it to build that funnel up, right?
Yeah, that actually makes me want to go like backwards in time to your question about those people that haven't yet started their business and they're figuring it out. Because another thing that I would do besides the customer avatar is finding content partners immediately.
What does that mean?
Yeah, talk to us. What's that mean? Content partners. Everybody start listening in.
Yes, partnership marketing. So teaming up with product companies or service companies that share the same customer avatar as you. So you're working together on webinars or live streams, or you're interviewing them on a podcast, or you're doing a lead magnet swap with their list. The partnerships are the easiest way to amplify your audience, especially early on. And I think a lot of people that are just starting their business or thinking about starting their business are afraid to pitch these and get people to do these partnership marketing because they're like, my audience isn't there yet. But you're sharing your expertise and something that they care about, they're going to say yes.
Chris was just having a moment.
I'm going down.
Yeah,
my head's like,
at first I'm like, boy, he's really thinking, well, maybe he's having a stroke.
I am stroking out here.
Okay.
That is genius right there. Because we've talked about this before. When you started your own business, and when I started my own business, I didn't think I could talk to people who were in the business because I didn't figure they would share. Now that I'm in it for 15 years, I realize we all share. Because what we do is really hard, especially in home services. And what she's saying is go to those people who are serving the same customer and see if you can't do some content and co-content creation and maybe some co-marketing stuff with them. And that's what franchises do with their franchise systems. But if you were to do that with other people who maybe aren't competing with you, but could co-op with you, man, just think about how much more powerful that would be. Because one thing I think is huge for me right now, and I want to ask you this question, is when you are pitched something, would you rather have me inform you about options in your home, or would you rather have me tell you how to do it the one way I know how to do it?
Options.
Yeah, options. See, I think that's where everybody's going now, is to give me the information and then I'll make an informed decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how consumers want to purchase, because they want to make that decision on their own and self-educate before. And I think that's why content marketing is so important, is because people want to self-educate and they get 90% through the sales process before they want to talk to you.
Yeah. Well, boy,
no, that's true. No, yeah, I've seen that. I mean, well, I always tell the story, and this is a long time ago when I bought a boat. I originally was going to buy a canoe, and then next thing you know, I did all my own research and homework and ended up going to the boat show, and I ended up buying a 28-foot boat and had it on linear instead of a canoe. But that was all without talking to one salesperson. And I'm old enough to where I should have actually gone down there and talked to them, or at least picked up the phone and called. But yeah, you're doing all your own homework ahead of time.
Yeah, and if you have your content out there and you're top of mind when they're researching and getting content and information, when they go to make that decision, and you're able to provide a service or a product to them, then where are you? You're in position A, right? To sell them up. Yeah.
Your so Sarah, content sells.
You've used the word webinar twice, and I know what a webinar is, but I've never thought about a webinar from a marketing standpoint. Usually webinars are kind of internal in my experience.
Oh.
Yeah. So
let's chat.
Yeah, let's chat. Talk to us about webinars for marketing.
I love webinars for marketing. So the cornerstone of content is know, like, trust factor. You want people to be aware that you exist. You want them to trust you. And you want them to like you and get to know your personality, especially for a service business. And webinars are the fastest way to do it. One, they're a great lead magnet because you're teaching someone on a specific topic. So you're getting tons of emails when you're creating one of those webinars. 2, you can bring a partner into it. So you're doubling those leads because it's going out to them too. And 3, you can sell with it. So you're teaching on a topic, but you're teaching it 90% of the way. And then in the last 10%, you could say, and this is how I can serve you further.
So let's say, for example, Chris partners with a window company.
Yep.
And then they want to host a webinar, and then they put it out to his 17,000 email people. He puts it out on LinkedIn. And what kind of a response can he expect to something like that?
Well, you would want to first figure out what problem it is that you both solve. So you might want to talk about energy efficiency and how the wrong windows are costing people money. So the webinar might be on something like how to reduce your energy bills by XX%. So that would be the webinar topic. And you could expect probably about maybe 10% of your subscribers to join the webinar, but you could, if you're advertising it and it's going out to their email list as well, then you're getting so many more.
That's boy, Chris, you just broke Chris.
Right.
Great.
You thought everybody, I froze, and actually I froze. I mean, literally, I'm frozen. I'm like, oh my God, that's so great. That's what I'm going to do on my next newsletter is I'm going to promote a webinar. I'll just say, you ask, Chris answers. And the first question we're going to answer is, I'll just pick what I think the major, topic of the day is.
But it needs to be a webinar. The topic basically needs to be a common problem that people have that you can service, right?
Yes. What you're describing is an AMA, and those are also great because you're building trust with your audience.
AMA?
That's an Ask Me Anything session.
Hello.
Gold nugget.
Oh, AMA.
So you can certainly do an AMA.
You just thanks a lot, Sarah. Now I'm going to be hearing Chris use AMA like he invented.
AMA and customer avatars.
That's right.
The best.
AMA.
In fact, I'm going to text him after we're done. I'm like, hey man, do you got time for a little AMA? What? I
There you
go. What? Boy, this is great stuff. I mean, again, when you're a smaller business, and we know a number of small business guys who, I got more work than I know what to do with, especially in the home services space right now because everybody has moved to the house. But there's going to come a time where you got to put yourself above everybody else. You got to put yourself in position and start bringing in more leads and content. We're hearing it right now: pillars, content, video, audio.
How often would you have somebody do a webinar if they were good at it?
I do them once a month. Some people do them weekly, which I feel like is a lot.
Yeah, it seems like
a lot of leads, but it takes a lot of energy to do that.
So it's almost like a podcast then, but with audience participation.
Is it audience participation in the webinars you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of the trust factor in it because you're interacting with them and you're building a rapport and answering their questions live. But let's go back to our pillar content topic.
Yep. All right.
Going back in time again.
She has her own sound effect.
She does.
You can tell she does a podcast.
I wish people could see it because she's got hand motions that go with that noise.
And you can see it on our YouTube channel because that's where
I get really excited and hand motions need to be there.
Let's
AMA.
Let's go back. Do the sound for us again, please. Yes. Michael, isolate that sucker.
Okay. So pillar content. Let's say your webinar is your pillar content and we need to repurpose that so it's feeding all of your channels. You can break down the video from your webinar into clips and shorts for YouTube. So you're just showing little portions, like 3 to 5 minute portions of that webinar on there. And then each one of those videos shoots to the on-demand version of your webinar so you can get more leads through that. And you can take the audio portion of the webinar, the WAV file, and turn that into a podcast.
Dig it. I got it.
Is there any innovation in the good old-fashioned call to action?
Innovation in it?
Yeah, because it's just so clunky, and click here for more information, or click, I mean, it's just, you want people to, after you've created all this content and put so much effort into it, you want them to reach out to you, have things change with the consumer so much that they recoil from the overt, call me now, today, for a free quote.
I think a lot of times they care more about a transactional CTA where you're getting something. So I like to create like micro content upgrades for content that's doing really well. Let's say I have a blog that's got really high search rankings. This actually happened. I have a blog that has really high search rankings and I didn't have a good transactional CTA on it. It was nothing. I was having all this traffic and then they just leave. So I created a template of my 80-20 marketing plan and I made that the micro upgrade for it. And that became the CTA. And now I'm getting hundreds of people that are subscribing to get that template every week. So that's one thing, is try a micro content upgrade having to do with that specific topic that you're doing. And then if you wanted a more direct CTA and you want them to actually call you, the innovative thing I can think of is using something like Deadline Funnel, where if you're offering a coupon code, for example, there's a deadline on it and it will change according to when they clicked into that link. So it starts then, and every time they go, it will be the same. So it will count down on theirs. So that's something that you could do where if your coupon expires. So it gives a little bit of FOMO.
Oh, Chris, fear of missing out.
Oh,
I
man.
need that. I don't know what CTA is though.
Call to action, baby.
Call to action.
Oh,
on,
good
man.
Lord.
Come on. Got that one.
I love. You really have to abbreviate call to action.
Yeah. I am now.
It's 4 syllables.
Amen. 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 All right. So, she's throwing so much at me that when she said deadline funnel, my head went right to, oh my God, dead lead. Oh, deadline. Oh, deadline. Yeah, I got to get it though.
But do people actually feel pressure on, like, if there's a countdown? Because I just sort of feel like marketing has just gotten so intense. It's like, you only have this weekend only, and you're like, not really, because next weekend they'll have the same sale. Or
no, it really works.
It does.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm proving that too, because we put a 30-day expiry on our estimates, and I've had people go, I know it's coming up, and I just want to know, can I get one more week? And I'm like, yeah, I'll give you one more week. I said, with materials right now and what's going on with the fluctuation in the market, I don't know how much longer I can hold it
any longer.
And she's
I understand that. But just the general,
yeah, but then again,
25% off.
But you have, again, I use the disc profile a lot. You get the high D asshole who's going to come back and go, yeah, I know you told me I could do a today offer only, but it's 2 years later. I'd like to get that same offer. But 2 years later,
well, too bad.
That's right. Oh, too bad. Look at you keeping it clean. I didn't say that. I said GFY. As long as we're going acronyms. Hey, all right, okay.
Hey, I know what that one is.
Yeah, I got that one.
I've hung around you too long, Chris.
Oh, that's good. All right, so there's so many good things here.
Yeah, it's picking up steam, and we're running out of time.
I know. We're running out of time. We're almost done here. God, where do we want to go? I want to go with. All right, how does everybody hear about you?
You can go to sarahnoelblock.com/safari, and you have your very own page where you can find all my links. And I'm also giving away a customer avatar bundle that's usually paid, but you have a Safari 100 promo code.
This is the first person that's given us something to give away. Yeah, man, you're the best. You're a favorite now.
You know what? She is our favorite guest ever. Next time I come to Chicago, yes, we're drinking.
Are you actually going to leave the airport?
I want
you know what? I only live 20 minutes from O'Hare.
Okay, all right. Well, I was close. Awesome. Thank you. That is awesome. Giving our listeners something to dig on. It's been great. We've been doing this for a year and a half, and we can't get a damn beer sponsor. We can't get anybody to give us a beer ourselves. We can't give away beer.
I actually broke some of your beer last time.
And last time you broke some of my beer is weird. But here's the first offer you actually got. You listen to this podcast, and we've got some really good loyal listeners. I just got pinged again last week. saying, man, I really like your content. Thanks again, man. You keep me pumped up. I love it. And I was like, that's awesome. So shout out, Justin. Thank you, buddy.
Cool.
Yeah. So now you go, Justin.
Justin's our favorite listener. Sarah's our favorite
Justin.
podcaster.
Yeah.
So look at that. Ooh, got a special
Yeah.
greeting from Sarah.
Yeah, it was cool. So, all right. So that's how they find you. And we'll put that in the show notes.
I do have one quick question as far as a good referral to you. So you work with, solopreneurs. Do they completely outsource to you, or are you more of a consultant advisor type of person?
Yeah, I work with them in two ways. It's usually bigger, small businesses that outsource completely to me. So they can do that, or they can do more of a done with you approach where we work together on your marketing.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's solid. So as you've scaled your own business and started in this, how many years have you been doing this?
Full-time, 3 years.
Wow. And what, I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. So did you go to school for this stuff? Is this something you always wanted to do?
Yeah. When you take those high school exams on what you should do, mine was marketing and I was all in on it. I've been in marketing for 15 years now.
Wow. How about that? Did you take one of those?
Yeah, but back when I was in school, it said I should be a longshoreman.
Really?
You got your boat.
Me?
Yeah, it was all like
and that's why you went
serious
for the canoe?
hardcore trades.
What? Is
Yeah.
it really?
Yeah.
I never took one.
I went to a small high school in a small town that had like 2 paper mills, and so those were the good jobs. I had to
And
get
then
out.
longshoremen.
Yeah, longshoreman.
Oh my God. Is there ever a short shoreman?
Maybe
a tiny shoreman. Here we go. Tiny marketing. All right. We bring it back today.
Good question.
Full
All right.
circle.
Tiny marketing. This has been amazing, Sarah. You dropped some amazing gold nuggets for everybody here. If you didn't get your mind blown and figure some stuff out here, go rewind this. I'm actually going to listen to this one again because even my notes are all over the board because I got to figure out how to implement this stuff. But I can't let you leave without asking our famous 4 questions.
Yeah.
All right. Give us a book that you're listening to, reading now, or something you would refer to our listeners.
Okay. I'll go with a marketing book, Story Brand.
Nice.
And,
Donald Miller.
Yeah. Your industry specifically works really well in.
Well done. You're right. Story Brand is a big one. Donald Miller, if you don't follow him, just pick up some nuggets. We've had Stephanie Davitskas on, who is a Story Brand consultant, and great stuff. And Sarah's brought that up. That is definitely one that
he seems to be a hot topic in marketing these days.
He definitely is picking up a lot of steam. He is becoming, Marcus Sheridan was really big, I think, in a while, and it still is. But Donald Miller, and by all accounts, just a good guy. Just don't know the guy.
He launched a new book, so he's probably getting extra press right now.
Yeah. Wow. And you just did it again. So here we go.
It's just such a strange pivot from his roots, but we can talk about that later.
Yep.
He was a writer, right? Like a fiction writer.
He was kind of a hippie out of Texas who went to Oregon to look for God, and so very Christian spiritual journey kind of books.
Yeah.
So to now suddenly be, one of the hot topics in marketing is kind of an interesting pivot.
Yeah. No, it's good, but it's solid. I mean, the stuff we've learned and seen has been great. Okay. But we digress. We have to go to this stuff. All right. What is the favorite feature of your house?
Oh my gosh. Our HVAC. We just got all new HVAC.
Don't laugh, Alan. The reason the South has been settled like it is because of the advent of HVAC.
There was no reason to live here before that.
No, you never would live here in the miserable South because it was hot. I grew up in Michigan. There's no way I was going to move because I lived without AC. So
one of my clients installed the AC in the Congress Hotel. It was like the first hotel to have AC.
The Congress Hotel?
Yeah.
Where is that? In
Chicago.
Atlanta? Oh, sorry. We have the Congress. I thought you were talking about the one that's next to me in my shithole in the office. There's a place that's a bombed out hotel
that's
called
a different
the Congress.
kind of Congress.
I was like, no
this
way.
Is like,
I said that guy must have taken his life in his hand. They actually had to close the thing down because too many people were getting shot there. It's literally right next to my office. Okay,
it's a famous hotel in Chicago.
That's right. Okay, nice. All right, so you work with them. Now you have your HVAC, so you guys are gonna be all nice and cool this summer.
Yes.
And warm.
Finally.
My favorite feature of her house is whatever's behind her. That artwork is pretty cool.
That's real artwork. That's not a background, right?
You're right. Me and my husband painted it.
That's neat.
Really?
I like that.
Yeah,
Hey, you colored out the lines there on the side.
I did a
Hey,
lot.
Yeah. I love that. That's awesome. I thought for sure she was going to say the soundproof kids room where they play video games. How old are your kids now?
They are 7 and 9.
Oh, yeah. You just wait. Because
The fun's only about to begin.
Yeah, it's fun. Boys or girls?
2 boys.
Oh, here we go. And summer is about to happen. Oh boy, we're about
Yeah,
to get
it's going to be a chaotic one.
Okay. So here's the next one. So you're out there and we're talking about service in the field because we are customer service
Freaks.
Thank you. And we love seeing great customer service happen. But when it doesn't go right, it feels wrong. What's something that's really a pet peeve of yours in customer service?
When you're the customer.
When you say you're going to do something and you don't do it.
It's so true, right? That's so it's just it's fundamental blocking and tackling. And it's mind-boggling because to be successful, number one, you have to show up. Number one, you've got to be there, be present. Number two, you just got to do what you said you're going to do.
I know. It's all the basic stuff you should have learned in Sunday school or watching Barney.
Yeah.
Kindergarten, all that stuff.
All right. So just for the record, my kids, I was able to skip over the Barney phase, but we had to go through the Wiggles. Remember those guys?
I'll take Barney over the Wiggles any day.
And we grew up on Saturday morning. Oh my God, what was it? Saturday morning, the Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh, Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah.
I love those clips. That's how I learned. Okay. But however, we have to keep going. All right. So I think I've got it all the way there. I think I'm at the next one. And here we go. Sarah has painted, but we want to hear about a DIY nightmare story. We love fire, floods, dismemberment, death.
We've DIY'd a lot. Let's see. Oh my God, you should see my floors. So we installed new floors and then they flooded the next day. Their basement flooded right after the next day.
Oh no.
I can't believe I had an opportunity to talk about that, Jem.
Oh, that is rock solid. I mean, just absolutely full of despair at that point, right? I mean, you're just like, oh
yeah.
My God, I just put these stupid floors in. And now
it was devastating. And my husband installed them. So you should have seen his face when we saw that it was flooded.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Oh boy. I feel the pain. My shoulders are clenching up right now just thinking about that. I'm like, oh God, because flooring that is backbreaking stuff, man. Got the guys who are my floor.
And he's all proud of it and everything.
Look how good I did.
For a day.
Look at me.
Look at me, honey.
I did everything on the floor. I done it myself. We didn't have to pay some clown to do it. I did it. What? Why is there 3 inches of water? Oh my God, we have a swimming pool in my basement.
It was rough.
Maybe Sarah didn't like the flooring and she just accidentally left the water on.
I hope her husband doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. That's not good. All right. On that note, Sarah, thank you so much for coming on. If you guys, again, I'm going to come back to it. Pick your avatar. That's number one. Number two, figure out how you're going to advertise to them. Content marketing is the way of the future. Video, you got to get video. You got to get audio. Back when I started, man, everybody told me I had to be in the yellow pages. I didn't do it. I didn't go in the yellow pages. This is years ago. I'm so proud of myself. I just get the one line, didn't pay $5,000 a month to do a trusted toolbox because A's go first. I mean, that's where it was. But today it's video, it's content, but you got to be pumping that stuff out and you can't do it alone. Tiny Marketing is here to help you. And that's Sarah Block. You got to go check her out. And we loved having you on. Thanks again, Sarah.
Thanks for having
Sarah.
me.
Cheers.
All right. We're out of here. I got to go make some content. I'm AI in it. AM Amy.